How you guys doing, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, make sure you smash the subscribe button, like, and comment down below. In today's video, we're going to discuss one of the newest rent-to-own programs in our area called Homes Await. So let's start with the minimum qualifications for this program. So you need to have at least a 550 credit score. You need to be making at least $48,000 annually per application. Basically, if it's two of y'all, you need to be making a minimum of $48,000 to even qualify. Now, your overall approval for what house you get approved for is going to be based off of your income and your debt to income ratio. So keep that in mind. Just because you make the minimum income, every house you're not going to qualify for, because it's going to be based off your income and your debt to income ratio. Make sure you have a clean rental history. These are rent-to-own, lease-to-own programs, and so they look at your rental history to make sure you're good with paying your bills, right? So that's the main thing. Make sure you have a clean rental history, no evictions. They do accept bankruptcy, so if you've been through a bankruptcy and you worried about that, they do accept bankruptcies. Your rental payment will be reported, so while you're in the program, your credit score should be increasing, and so that's one beautiful thing I like about this program. They will report your rental payment, so your credit score will be increasing while you're paying your rent. And they're going to give you the option of putting 2% of the purchase price down, or you're going to be able to put down a rental deposit and pay first month's rent. Now, we'll go over the difference a little later in the video. So those are the basic minimum qualifications to get approved for Homes Await, right? They're not asking for a lot. This is a really good program. It's new to Florida. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware of just the minimum qualifications and how to get approved. Now, how do you apply? Once the website is active, you'll be able to just go to homesawait.com and you'll be able to apply right from the website. Or reach out to me personally and I'll be able to get you in contact with the underwriters so you get the application process started. Now, this company is very new, so like I mentioned, the website is not active right now. So they do have houses that's available and they are having clients move in, but you have to be manually underwritten. So I'll post the link at the bottom of this video. You'll be able to click on that link and you'll be able to give me your information and we'll be able to get in contact with each other, and then we'll get you process and underwritten if you choose to move forward. So that's how you apply. And so how does the program work, and what exactly is this program? What is Homes Await? Homes Await is a rent-to-own, lease-to-own program. They're new to Florida, and so let's just break down what lease-to-own and rent-to-own means so we can know the difference, so we could be on the same page. So rent-to-own, that's traditionally like you would see the normal rent-to-own companies, the major ones that you already know about, Divvy and Landis. Those are rent-to-own companies. You need to have 2% of whatever the purchase price of the home is in order to purchase the home, and then your first month's rent. Now, the 2% goes towards you buying the house back. Now, if you choose to lease-to-own are companies like Home Partners of America or Pathway Homes. Now, you put down a rental deposit and your first month's rent. The difference is the rental deposit is not going towards you buying the house back. So if you put down a 2-month rental deposit and you get ready to buy the house back, now that lease is still active until you actually purchase the house back. And so you're not going to get refunded your rental deposit until the house is purchased. So that money is locked away. You can't use that money that you put down as a rental deposit in order to purchase the house back. So that's one of the biggest differences. The rental deposit is refundable. The 2% down is not refundable. The 2%, if you put down, can be used toward purchasing the house back. The rental deposit cannot be used to purchase the house back because it's stored away until you actually purchase the house and you are no longer in the lease, if that makes sense. So that's the biggest difference between the lease-to-own part of the program or the rent-to-own part of the program. They're going to give you the option. That's the good thing about this program. It's not one way or the other. They give you both options. If you have enough money to put 2% down, these are some of the benefits to putting 2% down. If you can put 2% down, they're going to give you a 10% discount on the purchase price within the first 6 months. If you can buy it back within the first 6 months, they're giving you 10% off the purchase price. If you can buy it back within the first year, they're going to give you 7% off the purchase price. And if you can buy it back within the first 2 years, they're going to give you 3% off the purchase price. If you can't buy it back after 2 years, then the buyback price is going to be the same. It's going to be a 3-year lease. The lease is not going to change. You're going to be paying the same rent year 1, year 2, year 3, and you'll have a 3-year buyback price. It's a fair buyback price. It's not going to be like the other rent-to-own programs where you have year 1 buyback price, year 2 buyback price, year 3 buyback price, and then it's unaffordable when you get to like year 3 because now you're paying $100,000 more than what the house originally paid for. This is not that kind of rent-to-own program. They have made it their business in order to make these prices fair. They purchased these homes, a lot of them when they was in the dirt phase. So if you look at the buyback price in 3 years, the actual price that the houses are selling for in these communities right now are somewhat close to what the 3-year buyback price is. So if you know anything of how new construction works, every so many houses they sell, the prices in the community go up. So if you have a particular model that you fell in love with, and this is even if you're not a rent-to-own person, right? If you see a house that you fell in love with in the community and maybe it's sold out or not available into the next phase, well, the next phase of that community, that house is probably gonna be $20,000, $30,000 more. So you could potentially become a rent-to-own customer by reaching out and acquiring this house within the first 6 months and getting a 10% discount on that purchase price of the 3 years. And you're talking about maybe getting this house for like $30,000, $40,000 less than what they're currently selling the house for in that same community just by buying it through the rent-to-own program. Getting in the house for a month or so and then buying it right back for the rent-to-own program just to use that discount. So that's a little nugget there. That's for my subscribers. If you're not subscribed to the channel, you don't get these jewels like that. This company is one of the newest companies to the area. I've dealt with Divvy, Landis, Home Partners of America, Trio, Pathway Homes, you name it, I've dealt with them. This is one of the only programs where I've actually got to speak to the CEO of the company, and he's picked my brain, he's picked other realtors' brain in the area in order to make their program one of the standout programs in the area. And so, so far so good. Everything they've told me, they've kept their word on it. And what I can say is the program is still fluid. They're still working on some things, trying to make sure that they have everything ironed out the way they want it. One of the beautiful things they did mention is about the appraisal gap. If there's a situation where the house does not appraise for what the buyback price is in 2 or 3 years, they even talked about having some kind of appraisal contingency built in. Well, they'll finance that difference in order to help you close on that deal, almost like a second mortgage or something like that. So they thought of pretty much everything. This is one of the few programs where I really think that they're investors. Don't get them wrong. They're investors. They're out to making money, but at the same time, they're also being really considered about what is really going to help the clients that are purchasing their homes, because they're trying to make their investors money, true, but they're also trying to make sure that nobody's getting into this rental home who can't get this home and purchase this home back from them within that 3-year period. They like for you to purchase it sooner, which is why they're giving you that huge discount to be able to buy it back within that first year. But if you can't, they definitely understand that, but it's still a fair buyback price in 3 years. So that's the biggest difference between the rent-to-own and lease-to-own portion of their program. And so they have inventory. So basically, once you get qualified, remember, they're going to go off of your income and your debt-to-income ratio. So they're going to have several homes in several different communities all over. They have homes in the Central Florida area, Leesburg, Kissimmee, Davenport, Lake Nona, Winter Garden, Apopka. In the Tampa area, they're going to have homes. Down in South Florida, in the South Miami area, Homestead area, Jacksonville, they're going to have homes all over the major areas of the state of Florida. So if you're looking, and in Atlanta too, we're in the Atlanta market. That's the only reason I'm going to mention Atlanta. My brokerage is in Atlanta, so I can also assist you guys if you're in the Atlanta area. Just let me know. But this company is they're coming, and like I said, they're in a fluid stage, so a lot of things are still changing, and any updates that they give me that's major, I'll make sure I report those. We'll do an updated video. We'll talk about the program again. But Homes Await is a really good rent-to-own program. Went over the minimum qualifications, went over how to apply for the program, went over some of the differences of these programs with the rent-to-own versus the lease-to-own. And so the only thing left is to actually pick out the house you want, sign that lease, get into the house, and then work on buying the house back. Remember, your rental payments are getting reported, so make sure you pay your rent on time, because they're reporting these rental payments in order to help you increase your credit score. And so basically, how do you buy the house back? That's one of the biggest issues. A lot of people get into the house, they don't start thinking about buying it back. Got many ways you can buy the house back, right? So one of my favorite things to tell everybody who gets to the rent-to-own program is to use the NACA program. The NACA program is going to allow you to buy this house back with no down payment, no closing costs. You're going to have no PMI on there. So Hometown Heroes is another good one, but I don't know in a year if Hometown Heroes is going to have any money. They've opened it up in Florida, but everybody with a brick and mortar office can use the Hometown Heroes program. The Live Local Act allowed anybody with a brick and mortar office to use this program. And so since they opened the floodgates, everybody's been using this down payment assistance program, so I don't really know in a year if any of this money is going to be left. So I will be looking at something that's more permanent. I will be looking at the NACA program. Remember, NACA takes a little bit to get through, but the same documents that you're submitting to these underwriters to get approved, those are the only documents you're going to need. NACA asks you to do certain things in order to get approved. It takes a little bit of time, but that's going to be the best way I could tell anybody to buy a rent-to-own home back, unless you already got enough money for down payment, your credit score is really good, so you're not really worried about getting a messed up interest rate. You have money to buy down your interest rate, because that's another thing that a lot of people fail to realize. Instead of putting more money down on the property, just pay down the interest rate. Put more money into the interest rate, into buying down the interest rate. That way your payment will go down. The interest rate is the number one thing that affects that monthly payment. It's going to be the interest rate. Not you putting $10,000 more down, not you putting $20,000 more down. No, put that money towards your interest rate in order to get that interest rate down as low as possible, so you can have this house at a really, really nice rate. So if you use the NACA program, no down payment, no closing costs, no mortgage PMI. You can't really ask for anything better than that. But there's other ways. You can use FHA, first-time home buyer programs. There's a million ways to buy it back, but just understand, when you get into this home, that's only half the battle. You have to acquire another mortgage to buy this house back. So I think that's about it as far as what we could talk about this program for right now, until they update us, give us some more information. For more information on this program in general, any kind of rent-to-own program, make sure you reach out to me. My name is Desmond with Combs Premier Realty Group, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.